With the Boston Bruins being into the playoffs, the fan base is turned looking at the future, and it looks like so is Jake DeBrusk. During locker cleanout day with the Boston Bruins, DeBrusk was quoted as saying, "I think that's something that creeps in your mind. It stinks. It's not a good feeling to think about. I still have hope that it'll all work out," when talking about the fact that he and the Bruins management have not spoken about his future with the organization. This begs me to ask the question, has Jake DeBrusk played his last game with the Boston Bruins? Don Sweeney was quoted as saying, "Negotiations is a two-way street," Sweeney said. He took an aggressive position with Jake, no different than any other player that has chosen not to resign and explore. That's within his right, certainly at this time of the year. Do I see a path? Yes, there's a path. I would prefer to have Jake DeBrusk on our team at breakup day for the Boston Bruins management. They truly need to find a better name for their end of the year meeting with the top brass with the press. Breakup day? It honestly sounds brutal. Anything but breakup day. Let me know in the comments what you think it should be called. And if you've liked our videos so far and you've liked our content here, please drop us a like and subscribe. The Bruins have $20 million in cap space, and their number one priority is to sign their goalie, Jeremy Swayman, which kind of leaves DeBrusk in a holding pattern because the Bruins need to figure out what the cap is first. Sweeney even mentioned that signing Marchand to an extension is in the back of his mind this offseason. Sweeney said he would pursue signing Captain Brad Marchand to a contract extension. He has 1 year remaining on that 8-year, $40 million deal he signed on September 26, 2016, with the idea of him being a lifelong Bruin. Marchand is the captain, and the Bruins have shown in the past they're loyal to the long-tenured players when they still have gas in this tank. I still think Chara should have retired a Bruin and not played elsewhere when it was clear he had nothing left in the tank. I'm going to die on this hill. DeBrusk seems to remain optimistic and is saying the right things with regards to returning. Like, "I understand that business is business," DeBrusk said at locker cleanout. "I've been here for a while. I've seen a lot of deals get done with guys and things, so I kind of understand, I guess, what their side is and how they usually operate. So I wasn't necessarily completely surprised, but I thought it'd be done and things would be all worked out early, I guess. But in saying that, getting to this year was really stressful to me, and it took a lot. So I'm just looking forward to getting away, to be honest." The Bruins have waited to the last minute to re-sign players in the past, like David Pastrnak. With the rumor of Pastrnak possibly needing hip surgery, it could open up even more cap space and make a DeBrusk return way more possible. Pastrnak was quoted as saying in a Czech interview with Sports.cz that he was told he needed hip surgery after the season and may still require it. No one in the Bruin organization has commented on this, and Pastrnak has since been on the Spit and Chicklets podcast and didn't mention it there. With it being the offseason, I'm sure the Bruins media is trying to get to the bottom of this one, and hopefully we'll hear something soon. Some of the issues with DeBrusk, though, speak to his inconsistencies, rumored asking price for his next deal, and the injury history. Since the 2017-2018 season, Jake has been unable to play a full season. Now, in 2021-22, his only reason he missed was due to COVID, so we're not going to count that one. Jake was blasted in the second half of this season for his poor performance, but it turns out he had a broken left hand the last couple of months of the season. I'm sure if people actually knew, nothing actually would have been said about him in the media. I can't imagine it's easy for players to turn off the noises sometimes during the seasons. I know it's their jobs, and I know they should be good at it, but I can't see it being easy. If NHL teams are more transparent, maybe things like this wouldn't happen. It's not like players don't talk about it and wouldn't already know. I've seen many an NHL player after a game with their arms in a sling or in a walking boot, yet nothing from the team about the injury, and the player doesn't miss a game. In his career, Jake has been unable to play a full season in the NHL, except he came close in 23-24, playing in 80 games, but we know probably shouldn't have. Hockey players are tough, but also stubborn. No other league in professional sports has had as many players playing with some sort of injury or ailment. I truly laugh sometimes seeing other professional athletes miss time or leave games for some things that hockey players would play through any day of the week. In 465 career NHL games, Jake has had 266 points, with 138 of them being goals. His ice time average over his career sits about 15 minutes and 47 seconds. He has had the second best expected goals percentage with 53.93% on the Bruins, factored in the fourth most expected goals for the 23-24 season. These all look good. Not great, but they do look good. What stands out to me, though, is his playoff stats. Jake seems to turn up his game when it matters the most, and I'm sure his agent is going to be pointing that out to everyone that listens. In 86 career playoff games, he has 47 points, with 27 of them being goals. He has a knack for scoring big goals as well. He's had 3 game-winning goals in only 7 years in the playoffs. He's been a Leaf killer over the years. Him and David Pastrnak seem to feast on the Toronto Maple Leafs, and that is a good thing since they play in the same division. This season, Jake had one of his best playoffs ever with 11 points in 13 games. Jake DeBrusk had 9 goals and 5 assists in 21 playoff games against the Toronto Maple Leafs. So if DeBrusk did leave, he would be sorely missed in the playoffs. Now, let's talk about his streakiness, which is best looked at in an article by Dominic Tiano, who breaks it down very well. I'm going to put the article in the links down below. Dom breaks down the case that yes, you can call DeBrusk a streaky player if you're only looking at goals and assists, but there's much more to it. Dom breaks down that his worst stretch came during the 2019-2020 season, where he had 19 goals and 16 assists in 65 games. He had one stretch of 10 games without a point. He also had one stretch of 4 games without a point. 3 stretches going pointless in 3 consecutive games, and 4 2-game pointless streaks. He had 7 1-game pointless streak, and in 2022-23 season, DeBrusk didn't go more than 3 games without registering a point, which also was his best season in the NHL. In fact, during his career, Bergeron and Marchand have had more pointless streaks than DeBrusk. Both players have had higher point totals though. So I feel there's arguments on both sides to deeming DeBrusk inconsistent because he's had a luxury over the years to play with some pretty good centermen. When you look at the underlying numbers as well though, his strong defensive play over the years, it would be hard to argue his impact on the Bruins and their success. Both Cassidy and Montgomery have sat DeBrusk, and DeBrusk has fallen out of favor at times with both of these coaches over his career based on various reasons. In Dom's article, he states based on bench rates, the site, DeBrusk value sits around $6.9 million to $6.8 million per season. That isn't chump change and it seems to be fair market value, but the cap is going up. Rumors have already started circulating that DeBrusk is Pittsburgh bound, according to the Hockey News, and the Toronto media has talked daily about DeBrusk possibly being part of the Leafs organization next year. The Leafs have made it clear that they would like to re-sign Bertuzzi and Domi, but if that fails, I'm sure they will turn their sights on Jake DeBrusk. No team can talk to DeBrusk until July 1st, but as we all know, that never stops teams from doing so. Players always magically sign on July 1st with full contract negotiated within minutes. So weird, huh? Rumors are circulating on what DeBrusk is asking, and I've seen anywhere from $8 million to $7.5, but these are only rumors and speculation. What we know is the Bruins want him back, but as Sweeney said, we're taking an aggressive position with Jake, telling me they've made him an offer, and the two sides are far apart because DeBrusk is saying he hasn't heard from them, and all we know is the truth probably lies somewhere in the middle. This is the game the teams and players play, so they should. Jake wants what he feels he's worth, and the team wants to pay what they think he's worth. Hopefully they can come to an agreement, but I get the feeling that this one won't end with Jake DeBrusk being a Boston Bruin. Let me know in the comments what you think will happen with Jake DeBrusk, and if you liked the video, please consider giving us a like and subscribe. See you next time.